Project Pluto was similar proposal to Project Orion, but instead of rocket ship engines, it was for cruise missile engines. The idea was a small nuclear reactor would heat and expand air in front of an intake, and then it would propel that air through a nozzle to generate thrust. Really not all that dissimilar from a modern jet turbine engine on any passenger liner. The two engines were actually successfully built and tested in Nevada, and they were designed such that they could cruise at Mach 3, and the ship itself could operate at low altitude, so only about 500 feet or so off the ground. So from a military perspective, you can go triple the speed of sound, and you can avoid radar defenses. So Sweet. This is actually, it's actually a pretty cool idea, right? The concept was the craft would fly low and fast, and it would be equipped with a series of multiple nuclear warheads. So as it's flying over its path, it would drop them, and essentially you couldn't defend against it, right? It's too low, too fast, and it would just drop nuke as it kind of went down its path. And the idea was, of course, at the end, you could just slam the ship itself once it's dropped its payload into a target as well, right? So it itself was a cruise missile at the time. Now, here's the problem. Again, radiation, superheating the air using a nuclear reactor and then propelling it for thrust behind just generates a ton of fallout just coming out of the jet's wake. So essentially every single thing that this cruise missile would fly over, this Project Pluto engine would fly over, it would just basically irradiate it completely with fallout at this point. So from a practical perspective, you couldn't actually launch this weapon from the US. You couldn't launch it from an aircraft carrier or from a friendly nation because you would just kill everyone underneath it and at the launch site and anyone that it flew over before it got to its target. So you kind of had to basically be within the borders of the Soviet Union at the time to launch and attack the Soviet Union with this weapon, which is a touch problematic, right? I don't think they wanted us to do that. And I don't think we would have, they would have given us permission if we asked nicely.
Right,
the second problem.
We have to invade and we got to make it at least a couple 100 feet in, and then we could use them.
Basically, right? You had to basically go on shore at that point to do it. And then, by the way, you'd most likely kill the crew, the launch crew, because of the fallout that's coming straight out of the backwash of the engine. The bigger problem, Adam, what do you know? And you kind of mentioned this earlier. What do you know about a nuclear reactor once you start it?
Oh, you have a really hard time stopping it.
Correct. You couldn't shut down the engine once it started. So basically, if this missile didn't crash into its final intended target, it would just fly around the world indefinitely until it spent all its fuel, just irradiating everyone and everything underneath it.
I could just imagine this thing zigzagging all over the place. And then multiples of them, because they wouldn't just be launching one probably. Holy crap.
I think the stated range on this was over 100,000 miles, or at least that was kind of the spec. So essentially it would crisscross the Earth 4 times before it would finally run out of energy and crash.
Oh my God. How insane is that? There's that missile again, killing everybody in its wake as it tries by. Oh, there it is. There I went. That.